Okay, we're now going to talk about this checkbox here, convert to DNG. You'll notice I do select this. DNG stands for digital negative. It is a raw file format that Photoshop is now pushing at this point in time. It has several advantages when compared to leaving it into the camera's raw file format. Those advantages are that we basically embed our sidecar file in the DNG file. It is no longer actually detached in a separate file. We'll talk about what that means in just a moment. The other advantage to DNG files, if we'll take a look right here, is we have this checkbox, compression. We can do some image compression. This is a lossless image compression. If this box is checked, your DNG file, your DNG raw file, will be 10 to 15% smaller than the camera's raw file. So you will save hard disk space, especially if you're shooting lots of images. This could be important over time to save 10 or 15% with every raw file you save to your hard drive. While we're looking here, you can select whether you would like no JPEG preview, medium size, or full size. I do have that checked as a medium size. And then again, notice that I have preserve raw image checked. I do not convert to linear. Alright, so we've talked about something called sidecar files, and that's throwing a lot at you all at once. So we're going to go ahead and close this. We've seen the settings in here. We're going to go ahead and close this down and go OK. And now let's talk about what a sidecar file is. Let's bring up this little diagram here. Alright, what you're getting out of your camera is a raw file. If you, we haven't talked about this yet, but if you apply metadata while you import that from your camera, or later on when you're in Adobe Camera Raw, if you adjust settings and then save those, you're creating something called a sidecar file. You'll notice it as a .xmp. That'll be the file extension. And these are basically a set of instructions applied to a raw file during the process of creating an image. That's if you're in Adobe Camera Raw. Okay, these instructions in the sidecar file can be cleared or changed. They're not permanent. Okay, there is nothing, you cannot permanently change or damage your raw file, your basic raw file, by any settings in Adobe Camera Raw or by applying metadata to them. It can all be undone. Alright, so a sidecar gets applied that way. Let's just take a look at some here. So let's bring up a folder right here. There is the file, the Camera Raw, the Canon Camera Raw CR2 file extension 9354, and then notice there's a 9354 XMP file. This exists because for fun we just went in and messed and created a little bit of adjustments in Adobe Camera Raw, created a sidecar file. There's not a sidecar file associated with any of these other images because these were simply copied and pasted from the camera. We did not add any metadata and we've not adjusted them yet, so there's no sidecar file associated with them. Alright, let's get rid of this and go into Bridge. And we're in Bridge. This is the image that has that sidecar file associated with it. We don't see it in Bridge, but it's there. If we view, show hidden folders, we'll now see, hey, there's an XMP file associated with that sidecar file. Let's go ahead and hide that again. Well, actually, let's leave that going. Okay, to show you what you can do with this, we can actually simply right-click on that, look for delete, and then delete it. Notice we'll see some change. Well, maybe you'll be able to see a change here. When we've deleted it, it shifted just a little bit. There were some adjustments we made. They've gone away. We're back to the original image right out of the camera. No problems deleting that sidecar file. Here is the danger that sidecar files pose, and that is, let's say we go into here and we're in any sort of a Windows viewing program and we decide to start moving our files around. Well, if we grab this image file and move it to another, copy it, cut it, and move it to another folder, if we don't select the sidecar file at the same time, we could separate them. Therefore, we're separating details about that image from that image, and we maybe don't want to do that, but it's very easy to accidentally do in a Windows viewing program, or a Windows program, Explorer program, any kind of a window viewer. Incidentally, if you're in Adobe Bridge and you cut and paste images, Adobe Bridge will move the sidecar files with you. But again, the danger here is if you're in a Windows program, cutting and pasting images around, you could separate sidecar files. That is why, we come back over here to our photo downloader. If we convert to DNG upon downloading, we never have to see that sidecar file. It's embedded in the DNG file. It can't be separated. Real important concept there. Real fine information to know. It's easy to convert now. If you don't convert now and you think, oh, I'll just convert to DNG later on, it's more complicated. You have to download a DNG converter, select the files, convert. It's a real headache. It's much simpler to do it now as you're downloading for the first time. Hopefully that makes sense as to why you want to check that box and go in here and make sure you're compressing. Okay, next we have delete original files. I do not do that. I prefer to reformat my card in the camera after I've downloaded and backed up. Alright, and then you also have another checkbox here, save copies too. If you're out in the field or at any time you're downloading, maybe you want to save to a folder on your laptop. Great, we've shown you how to do that. Perhaps you also have an external hard drive plugged in. Well, if you do that, then you also check this box and then click browse and tell it where to save a copy to at the same time. I don't usually do that. I just download and then move copies around on my own. But that is, if you're wanting to save one more step, that's a way to do it. Alright, that brings us to the end of what we want to discuss here on clip 2. Thank you very much.